I'm trying to tell you. Oh my goodness. Would you say people to people? Power to power? It's positive thing. People gotta stay positive all the time. Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes. People to people, power to power, positive thing to people. Man, can I tell you how things, it just happens. We got Lady Z in the back there checking things out. So, she gonna get mad at me. I told y'all, I keep it real. So, I gotta tell you really what's going on. So, I went in and grabbed something for us to eat prior to coming home. And why are you looking like that? Something with it?
No, she said she didn't tell Rachel that it's not working.
Oh, she didn't tell?
She said she didn't tell her that it's not working, so we can test it.
Just tell her to call in. So much going on. Hey Beth, how you doing, sweetheart? So, it's funny. The devil is real. And we know we just got to stay focused. And, sometimes the devil will try to, especially when you get really excited. I had a lot going on the last few days that just had my spirit up on the clouds. And it's still up there because I refuse to let the devil take me to a level where he's going to win. I was talking to my pastor cousin, Pastor Haskins, and she said, it's all on your faith. It's all on your faith. And I was talking to another pastor who also reminded me that the devil is real and the devil knows that God is real too. And so the devil played tricks to try to get you into a place where things, get you discouraged. But I'm not discouraged. I'm happy and I'm smiling and it is what it is. So everybody who's tuning in, I apologize for coming on late. Hey, you got to understand that it's me and Lady Z to do everything, and sometimes things happen. I ain't even got no socks on. If y'all see my feet a little ashy, you better not talk about me. And let me tell you something, if I happen to jump up, you got to know why. Because I went and got us something to eat from this little restaurant, which I kind of been a little skeptical about anyway, and it got me running back. And she giving me the eye like, don't say it, but it got me and her running. We running back and forth to the bathroom. It's Real Talk About with Rodney Grimes, baby. I can't fabricate nothing. I can't fabricate it. It's Motivation Monday. Motivation Monday. I have a guest that's supposed to be coming on with me, Kendi. And say what? Okay, if you want me to call in, I will, but if I can be directed, I can do virtual. No, I would prefer you go ahead and call in. I don't want to try to do that while we are live on the air. So, for everybody just tuning in, I want to just say peace and blessings to you. Thank you so much. Let me tell you something. When things start to get real hard, you'll find out that all kind of stumbling blocks will come. And I've been told by many people when I'm getting stumbling blocks thrown in front of me to stay strong because something big is getting ready to happen. Last night, I have to take my hat off. I won't take this hat off because my hair is not combed and stuff, right? But I have to take my hat off to Brother William Pinky Slade. When I tell you this brother has come through for me on several different occasions with unconditional support, that's what I talk about when I say Motivation Monday. Motivating things that happen, people that do things to motivate you. He set up for me to go into the studio. He prepped everything for the recording of the promo song for Real Talk Live, which is his skills that he put together, and I just fell in and followed his lead, and I just want to say thank you to him for motivating me to stay strong and stay focused, and for him to jump in like he's been doing. That's what I'm talking about when we changing the way we do things, and so it's real powerful with what's going on around me. So just hanging there with me. I don't know. Okay, what is that? I can do video calls, I believe, from the computer. You can't do it. Tell her to call on the phone. We can't do it that way. That's not the way that it's done. So if she would just call in, and we can do it that way. It says if I try, it will disturb your show. Yes, it will. So what I need you to do is just call in on the number, and we'll take it from there, because I already know how this goes. We are, let me tell you something, I already know when we are moving into the next couple of months, we got new equipment coming in. We're going to have different ways for people to call, to do the virtual. That's something also I want to put out, that I am looking to get, what you call them when they come in and they work, somebody who needs some skills in production and stuff like that. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but I'm looking for some young person, old person, middle-aged person, blind person, one leg, it don't matter, that wants to come in and learn and grow with us to help us with production, because as it is growing, it's a lot on Zena and I, and we're not complaining, because I just praise God and give Him glory to how it's moving forward. The viewership is picking up, and we got some other things that's been happening, but I'm just telling you that it is amazing what's going on. So I'm hoping that my guest is going to go ahead and call in, and when she do, we'll take it from there. But it is Motivation Monday. Remember, now I'm supposed to talk about Black history, right? I'm going to talk about Black history, not because it's supposed to be Black History Month, because I am a black man in America, and I have to talk about who we are and what we do. And we are in that part of our lives where we are establishing a new way we're doing things, how we're supporting each other, how we're starting businesses, and we're trying to buy property, and we're putting down the drugs and the guns and the dislike for each other. We're putting all that stuff down. We're putting it down. What we're doing is moving forward with positive thinking. That's what we're doing. We're learning how to support each other. And I'm so excited about that. I'm just talking about the energy that from 2020 carried me like I'm like a bomb right now, ready to explode. And I am exploding in 2021 with God in my life, and where I'm just leaning on Him and letting go and let Him take the lead on everything that's going on with me. So I'm excited about that. And I bet, see the young lady who I'm supposed to be bringing on, she's going to be talking about breathing. And so, you know, that's what I got to learn how to do, is to control my breathing when things are going a little rapid for me. And you do too, because it's good. It's really important for your health and how you respond, and so you don't be stressing out and going through these unnecessary changes that you bring onto yourself. It's Motivation Monday. So everything I want to talk about today, I want it to be about motivating you to move forward. I want to tell you, support each other. I'm talking in your relationships. We support each other in the businesses. Support each other. You know, like, even with your children, can you imagine how stressful it is for them right now? They're trying to learn at home while everybody's walking around, or they're fussing at them, and the dog's running, and the birds are chirping, and the fish aquarium's running, you know, and your mom is yelling at the dog and the cat and everybody else. That's rough on them right now, and then we wondering why their grades are bad. We gotta get with them and motivate them to understand that they gotta put that extra effort in, and we gotta do it as well. So let's get on that motivating tip where we are trying to just put out positive energy with one another and not be putting each other down. I try to tell people this, and I believe this so deep in my heart. First of all, when you're looking for something positive to happen with you, it's going to happen based on the energy that you put out. And that's even when you go to pray. If you go to pray, and you pray to God and your energy level is low, God gonna know that, you know what, hey, you ain't really coming to me like you really serious, so, you know, hey, maybe I won't take you serious. Maybe you gotta go through a little more process before you'll put that real strong effort in your prayer into your your lifestyle and into your change and how you are doing things to make a difference. And when you do that, I'm telling you, you will see a difference in your life. I'm a witness to it, and I'm asking you to continue to do that. Not just for me, but do it for your family, friends, your neighbors, all your loved ones, and then also the people that you just see all, across the street, down on the block. We got to pray for them and send energy to all of them because we want to keep moving forward. You can't tell me that 2020 hadn't did something to you. We lost a lot of people in 2020. Oh my God. And I'm going to tell you today that we have a program that's going to be coming up that's going to be honoring all the people that passed. I'm going to be putting a flyer out about that. You'll be able to get my email and send pictures of your loved ones who's passed on, and then you'll be able to call in and you'll be able to talk about them because we haven't had that opportunity to mourn our loved ones like we want to. So that's something that I'm going to be doing real soon. And when I say real soon, I'm trying to work that in within the next 14 days or so. Also, I don't really celebrate Valentine's Day, but because you try to go with the flow of things, and I realized like I really wasn't getting into Christmas, and then I realized when I started I let my wife put the Christmas tree up, and I went and bought the bulbs and all that. I saw her smiling and she was dancing and stuff like that. I realized what I had to put into it. What I had to put into it was the love for her. So with this, it's a y'all got the, this is not going well. But devil be God, because I'm Io, you're dialing the wrong number. I gave you the number 301-793-7342. So you're dialing the wrong number. But God is good. It's man, I tell you. So as we keep moving forward, just stay positive. Keep that motivation moving around and the energy. I send my condolences out to the Walker family, Vincent Walker. He passed away a few days ago, and we send our condolences out to the family. And don't mind me, because even Lady Z is sitting over there, she's banging her head because everything is not going the way that we planned. But we just say, we just keep it real because God is good. So, then I'm going to see who she's going to throw up on the screen right there and see what's going on. All right, as you know, shout out to my co-host, Miss Tracy Clark. Boy, I'm telling you, it is funny. So sometimes when you try to stay motivated, things are happening. Keep her on there, because I want to keep, I want to shout out to my sister. It's funny how things happen. Here I came in and I called my wife, say, hey, I'm going to bring something home, and why that stuff messed my stomach all up? That's crazy. I know I should be talking about it like that, but I'm keeping it real. And then, I'm hoping, and when we get a chance, we got to check and make sure she's okay, because my co-host was supposed to be coming in today. And, and I'm not saying she's not. She may be on her way, and if not, I'm hoping that all is well with her. We were supposed to have Miss Io to call in, and she's having some complications of doing that. So I'm going to keep moving forth and just stay focused on being motivated, because it's Motivation Monday. And we got to stay motivated with everything that we do and know that we cannot let negativity, when it comes in any kind of way, we can't let it get us down, because, sometimes things happen. If I know I'm waiting for another picture to pop up, and it just did. And that's the godmother, Miss Rachel Pope. We send love and peace and blessings to her. And after I just thought about that, let me tell you something else. So, everybody had to start somewhere, right? Now, y'all got to hear me out on this. Everybody have to start somewhere. I got a lot of people that will criticize what we do. What we're doing, and this is not no cry for no sympathy or anything. I'm saying, keep it real. Oprah, she started You know, if you go back and look at her program, Oprah started, back in the day, she was wearing her hair a certain way. Tyler Perry, Ellen, all of them started somewhere. Okay, Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams just did a story on her life and talked about the trials and tribulations she had as she was moving forth. And here I am. And I believe and claim victory. I claim victory. I claim success on this program. I claim it. I'm going to keep going no matter what. I don't care if I got just one person watching. I don't care if it's 2, and I don't care if it's 1,000. I'm going to keep going. Because I know that I got to stay focused and I got to stay motivated and make things work as I just let go and let God. So, I'm just going to continue to do that and stay focused. And I'm telling you to do the exact same thing. Do we have my guest on the phone? Ms. Ayo.
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I'm kind of all over the place, but around the time of Black Love Day, as the founder of Black Love Day, I tend to be all over the place. So, but I'm good though. I'm staying focused, just like you said. Just staying focused. How are you today, sir?
Well, you know what? I'm doing very well. Just a second. Can't call in. It's going to straight to voicemail. Oh, that Tracy is trying to call in. She's not coming in. So Tracy, we have our guest on the phone. So, Ms. Ayo.
Yes, sir.
First of all, so with all the energy that's going on with me right now, and I'm trying to stay motivated, and things are happening around me. What is it? What type of breathing? You're a breathologist, correct?
Yes, I am.
So can you explain to me what that do and how that helps people when they're stressing or things are not going well? What is that about? Can you give me a little bit of information on that?
I certainly can. Well, first and foremost, let me give praise and honor to the Most High for the opportunity to be on your show, and thanking you and your wonderful wife. And I want to give thanks for the breath of life. Without breath, there is no life. And when we are unfocused, all over the place, we speak of being ungrounded. We're not grounded, Grounded, which means, we're kind of not centered on the natural vibration of Earth. Being centered in the grounding of the Earth energy, which is being connected. And so, in order to kind of come back down from out there in the clouds and what we say all over the place, right? When you think of the clouds, you're all over the place, right? So in order to come back down and to be centered, I encourage people to connect with their breath. Simply allow their connection from the center of their body. And the center of their body is right at their navel. And 9 out of 10 people, unfortunately, don't breathe from what is called the lower portion of their body. They say they're taking a deep breath, but they're really not. 9 out of 10 people are breathing from the upper portion of their lung area, which is their upper chest. In medical terms, that's called a shallow breath. And it's called shallow because the oxygen intake from the air is not going deeper into the lungs, which would be closer to the edge of our rib cage or the end of our rib cage. Instead, our breath is stuck in the uppermost portion, which is the smaller portion of our lungs that has no place to expand. It's covered by a bony skeletal rib cage. Therefore, oxygen is somewhat stuck there, and it doesn't allow for the full, what we say, volume of air that can be circulated in the human body. So a fully expanded lung can circulate up to 9 to 10 pints of oxygen. It depends on the size of your lungs, the shape of your torso. But if the breath is trapped in the smaller portion of the lung, encased by the skeleton, it has no way for the lungs then to, expand and deflate and expand and deflate, then that means that the average person is getting 1 pint of oxygen to circulate. And what happens is that a variety of imbalances, and brain fog is one main one, where our thoughts are clouded, we're not getting enough oxygen to the brain, there's less clarity, it's the beginning of the potential for stroking, a person having a major stroke. People can end up having heart attacks eventually with limited oxygen. It's a myriad, up to 60 or more imbalances can occur by not having that full circulation of oxygen on a daily basis. And we're talking about breathing 20,000 times a day, Mr. Grimes, 15 to 18 times a minute. And so if in that amount of breathing, and there's that limitation of limited oxygen, then that means it's also limited oxygen that is the food for our cells. So it means that our cells are not getting the optimal meal. And that is why we have so many health issues, black and white, but particularly for people of African descent, I find that fear and stress and trauma, which is a big, big part of our everyday existence, that we're holding our breath a lot, which further limits our breathing. So, several things. We're not taught how to breathe correctly. Doctors don't correct us and say you're not taking a real deep breath, so therefore you're not really getting the oxygen intake that you can. And third, because of stress and trauma, we got stress hormones that also are flooding those cells, and that means it's really important that we have a deep breath 20,000 times a day so that it can push those cellular, it can push those stress hormones through the cells, detoxify the body, and therefore then feed our cells. And so therefore we'd have much better health.
Now, I want to ask a couple of questions because, a lot of times when I was talking about this today, and I don't want to sound like no racist or nothing like that. So a lot of times, and don't think I don't believe that Black Lives Matter and all that. But I want to talk just as us as humans, right? Your human race. Now, a lot of us are under stress. And we know that even with all of this trauma that went on in the country, it's a lot of us that are under stress. And also with the pandemic, we're under stress even more so because we got loved ones that's passed. We don't know how they're dying. They're saying this one thing when you're not in the hospital to be able to see what's going on. We got all kind of things that's going on, right? Okay, so a lot of us are not getting that proper breathing. Now, with that being that in that manner, that's what can also cause a lot of sicknesses and illnesses with us. But one of the things that I wanted to ask about, how about wearing the mask? Okay, we wear the mask. I'm not saying I wear my mask, right? But what I notice is when I keep my mask on for a long, long period of time, I start getting dizzy.
Okay.
Now, can you explain? Oh, do that? Is that because the rhythm of my breathing is getting thrown off?
Yes, truly. I've seen pictures with your mask on, and I want people to think of if they had a covering over their nose and their mouth for hours and hours at a time. Logically, yes, our breathing is compromised. We're just not getting the same amount of oxygen flow. And I've read lots of doctors who try to discredit that, and I don't know why they are discrediting that, but those of us who understand about health as well as breathing, we're all recognizing that it does, we're limiting our oxygen meal on a daily basis. So what I encourage people to do is wear your mask for shorter periods of time. Wear your mask when you have to. If you're an essential worker, that might mean you may need to wear your mask all day long. But find some space in the day and take that mask off and breathe some actual oxygen without any constriction or restriction. Restriction or constriction, they're really the same word. Go in the cleanest space you can find, maybe outside more than likely, and allow yourself some actual breaths of air. Then, when you go home also, of course, allow yourself to do some deep breathing exercises which may compensate for the time in which you were limited in your breathing technique. So it is a challenge that we're going through right now. And yes, sir, I agree that all of us are stressed out. Yes, we are. When we speak about the disproportionate number of people who are dying from COVID or getting sick, I've been trying to encourage people to recognize that a lot of folks were already having issues. Black and white folks, all folks are having issues because not breathing well is a real critical issue. Every doctor, when you go to see your doctor, the first thing your doctor should check is how well are you breathing. It is the critical foundation for you maximizing your health, and it's the simplest thing that we can change, that once we change to become better breathers, we begin to see immediate results. People who have come to see me who were in pain, we ask them to breathe some oxygen in an effective way, an efficient way, and they'll say, wow, gee, I don't have the pain anymore. We've had people that had a headache, and, you bring in the oxygen, and they'll say, oh, gee, my headache is gone. And then if you work with a person for about 3 weeks to a month, oxygen retains in the cellular wall. So most of us are oxygen deprived from the time we were age 3, 4, and 5. So when we get to be in our 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, we've had that many years of oxygen deprivation. And so the cells are doing the best they can do with limited oxygen, which means there's the disproportionate issue relative to more than likely people of color because you've added additional stress hormones just because of who we are, In addition, poor people of other colors, go through a lot of the same lifestyle issues, okay? Holding their breath because of this fear, stress, and trauma, and worry, and just walking in a store and someone is, looking at you and gritting at you, and you haven't even done anything but, be who you are going in the store. So it's lots of stress all around us all the time. It's how we manage the stress. But unfortunately, there is a brain-physical relationship that occurs. And when we're in stress and when we're in trauma, we take that breath. I encourage people to maybe put a little drop of maybe peppermint oil or lemon or orange in their mask. It kind of helps to open up the air passages. another eucalyptus. All of those are essential oils that are really good for the respiratory system. So just a little half of a drop, not a whole drop either, just a half of a drop of 100% pure essential oil, something like Young Living or doTERRA. Those are excellent oils that you can breathe and eat that will help us to clear the lung passage. We need to make sure we're drinking the efficient amount of water. Many of us only drink water, but we're not drinking enough water to hydrate the pounds that most of us carry. And so not hydrating the pounds we carry is the other aspect of limiting our oxygen meal, because water, H2O, is liquid breath. It's liquid oxygen that we're drinking. So not drinking the water, not breathing efficiently, we are eating way lot of meat and carbs and sweets. All of these are impacting the alkalinity of our body, which then also contributes to us falling into disease patterns. So we are very challenged right now to stay healthy. I highly recommend that people look at my website. We had a number of recommendations in the wellness site that talked about things that people could do by wearing their masks and how they can hopefully circumvent and increase the potential for the mask not to cause quite so many issues. My website is Positive Energy Works. It's one E that connects positive with energy, so we can be the most positive we can ever want to be. POSITIVENERGYWORKS. Also, brothers and sisters, we must rest during this period of time. Rest enables our brain to recalibrate, which enables us then to have also clarity of mind and thought. And it actually decreases stress hormones. So right now, with stress being as heavy a challenge for us, and it is winter time when people tend to have the sense of hibernation. And so now it's a very important time that we don't keep pushing the button, stay up half the night, but to get the amount of rest that we all need to properly, just manage the body.
So okay, now, if just hold on just a second. I just wanted for all the people that just tuning in, my guest today is Miss Ayo Handy Kendi, and she is a breathologist, and one of the things that I realized after I had you on before, I start paying attention to my breathing when I'm upset. I start watching my breathing even after sex. I watch my breathing when I run up the steps. I watch my breathing when I'm eating. They all different times when my breathing would change.
Yes.
And I noticed
every time you move, Mr. Graham, our breathing changes. So
right.
you've been watching. Yes, good.
So, but what I was noticing in certain positions and certain things that I eat, and my body was responding. And the reason why I'm saying this is because there's a lot of people won't take this serious. But in order to, I do know in order for us to build our immune system and to change things that are holding us down, we got to change the bad habits. And we have a bad habit of not breathing properly.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So everybody that's tuning in, please take this real serious. If there's any guests that want to do, I have my guests on the line, so you can't call in, but you can leave your comments on the board, and we'll watch it and we'll read your comments. So as you tune in, so if you want to ask Miss Ayo some questions, please feel free to write your comments in, and then we will relay the comments to her. One of the things that I'm just thinking about just over the years where we as a people, and I'm not going to, I talk from a perspective of a black man because I am black, okay? I was married to a Filipino for 20 years. So
Okay.
now I got the reason why I'm telling you this is because in that time I saw different cultures. So what I'm saying is people do things different because of who they are.
Yes.
Okay, they eat different because of who they are.
Yes.
Okay, some of them sleep different because of who they are, the way they may sit. All of these things play a factor. But what's one thing that we all have in common is breathing.
Yes, we do.
And so when understanding the rhythm of it, it makes a big difference, correct?
Yes, it can be. That because if we looked at, I was blessed to have been able to travel to Africa several times. South Africa, Liberia, Benin. And I actually went to be able to work with trauma. And I saw very clearly that people in the motherland, those particular countries I visited, the breathing was different. It was more optimum. There was less holding the breath. Even though there's a lot of stress and poverty, I believe that the additional aspect of the stress that people here in this country experience from racism seems to really have made our stressors maybe perhaps a lot more, but at the same time, I did see that there's a great deal of poverty in the areas that I visited. However, when I went to South Africa and I was in a less impoverished environment, I also noticed that there was a little less. It wasn't as much stressed out breathing there. So I do agree. I've also traveled to Europe, and in Europe, I've also seen that the people who weren't, the people who seemed they had a little more material wealth compared to people who had less material wealth and who had greater poverty, I noticed the same thing, that there was a preponderance of limited breathing compared to a more relaxed, a more open breath. So I have been studying breath for over 50 years, and in this study of mine, I would call it a grassroots study, but I've been in health fairs, I've been in all kinds of workshops, conferences. I've agreed with millions of people on radio, TV, and print. Oftentimes, because we just have not been made to be aware of the importance of breathing, that you really do see all ways and fashions of breathing. And there are some of us who are musicians and some of us who are athletes and people who take yoga. They are the people who seem to have had a greater awareness that has been shared with them either by coaches or I'm not sure who, but they seem to have a greater awareness of better breathing from this lower portion of our body, the diaphragm, which creates an optimal breath 20,000 times a day. Yet, when they leave their craft, they leave the court or they leave the choir stand, I've had many of them show up and they're breathing very inefficiently, strained again.
Ms. Ayo.
Coaches and teachers and yoga teachers are kind of doing a disservice. They're suggesting that we use this tool of breathing to maximize the stamina or maximize the deep voice as a speaker or singer, but I don't think that they're giving the message that we're to use that same optimum deep breathing all the time. And because we breathed in that fashion when we were babies, and it was natural for us, we merely have to get reacquainted. The cells have a memory. The cellular memory never forgets. And so we have to reawaken the cellular memory of that lower portion of breathing to remind people, okay, this is where it feels really good to breathe this way. And yes, you're just going to not only feel good, you'll look good, you'll have more energy, more stamina. on our noses, and you know, it's always available to us. It doesn't cost us a dime. You know, it's free. But yet we just don't train people with this awareness. We don't even enlighten people. And so I really appreciate that you are looking at this seriously, because last point that's very important, with optimum breathing, people have done the research and they see that people are living 10 to 15 years to 20 years longer than people whose breathing has been restricted. So this means that it's not just living longer, but breathing well has enabled them to live longer and also be healthier in living longer. So I'm the example of the example. I'm 69 and there's no real
Ms.
challenges
Ayo.
I have. And,
Ms. Ayo.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I also have some people who want to ask you some questions.
Okay, though.
Okay, so Tracy wanted to know, does she know anything about the house plants that can improve oxygen and remove pollutants in the home? The plants are mother-in-law's tongue. Money plants.
Okay, your voice kind of dropped, but I got the question that do I know about the plants that would remove the pollutants from the home? Is that correct?
Right, and basically, do they help purify the air?
Yes, and a purified air, yes. There's about 15 to 20 house plants that are listed that help to purify the air in the home. And I would suggest that you go on Google, on the internet, and just type that in. What are the best house plants that remove environmental pollutants or that clear the air? They're going to mention things like snake plants and certain philodendrons, and there's several more. The important factor is they're going to hopefully give you the ratio, because you can't just have one plant and think that that will do the job. You need the number of plants per square foot to help clear the air. And so, yes, go on Google and you'll see that listed. I have it in one of my files, and I can pull it up maybe while I'm sitting here. But yes, that is a Google search, but that information is definitely there. The second thing about the house plants is that you want to dust off your house plants. Dusty, dirty house plants do not do the same job, okay? Because the dust makes it difficult for the plants themselves to have the optimum ability to do the exchange of the carbon dioxide, give out the oxygen and, release the carbon dioxide into the air while it's also adding oxygen. So you want to ensure that you have really clean plants, and you want to have the right number.
And so I did realize this many years ago. I like plants, and I'm pretty good at keeping them alive. And I noticed, I have fish tanks in my house, and I have I started collecting more plants. And in one room, I believe that I feel just a little more comfortable where all my plants are, and I do attend to them and wipe them off and make sure that they are very healthy and watered, because I know that they do help, just like they help purify the air, like the trees do outside.
Yes, they do.
And
yes,
so,
they do. And I would advocate right now, as often as we can get outside under trees, this is an excellent time to find pathways where you can walk and get the cleansed air from being in our environment with lots of trees. I'm so blessed because I live in a community that I have a lot of trees, and it makes such a difference in the environmental air quality, yes.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I have a lot of trees in my backyard, and I love them for helping me with the oxygen, but I do not enjoy them with the spiders that they bring.
Yes.
I have another question. I have another question. Katrina said, "Have you studied what actually does Black Lives Matter organization do?"
There's a lot of controversy right now about Black Lives Matter. And I have done some looking into it. I haven't really done a study of them, but what reading I have done and the work I've done over the years as an activist, I remember when the group started, it was several sisters, 3 sisters in particular. They have now somewhat gone separate ways, and it's maybe one sister, I believe now, who is still somewhat the head of Black Lives Matter. But Black Lives Matter has chapters in many cities, and the controversy right now is that as we had the reckoning last year in 2020 of all that we saw of millions of people in the street protesting, and in the name of Black Lives Matter, the chapters did not receive money. The main organization supposedly received a lot of money, and I understand that there's some challenges about they're attempting to regroup and attempting to have a greater, understanding as to how does a chapter can fundraise and those kind of dynamics.
Well, I tell people, I do this program just so that we can have the opportunity to network with one another and get individuals like you in who are professionals in your area to share information. But a lot of times what I also tell people, just use regular common sense on everything. Do Black Lives Matter? Yes, it do. Do white lives matter? Yes, it do. Everybody's life matters.
Everybody's life matters.
Now, my point I want to make is, I know I'm treated a certain way because of the color of my skin, but I don't let that stop me from praising God, from living the way that I know God wants me to live, and for me to be a positive man in my community, and for me to do the things that's necessary. Now, I'm going to tie that back in with where we're going, because I don't want to get current into a different direction. So even if I'm talking about Black Lives Matter, you know what else matters? My breathing. What else matters is my health.
I'm not sure why they asked about that, but I'm going to also say I'm not going to go too deep into that myself, but I will say that all lives do matter, but I still come back to all lives can't totally matter until everyone understands also that Black Lives Matter, and that we have to treat humanity from the perspective of that understanding that all lives matter. But how can all lives matter if a segment of the population doesn't matter? So, we have to look at Black lives have to matter in order for us all to have the humanity that we also deserve. I've been confronted because Black Love Day, as the founders coming up February the 13th, I've been confronted because people say, well, how can you have a Black Love Day? Why don't we have a White Love Day? And I've said to people, well, we should. White folks can love themselves, and we encourage white folks to show atonement and reconciliation and service to Black people on Black Love Day. But Black Love Day gives Black people an opportunity to heal themselves, to unapologetically allow themselves to be Black, to observe a holiday or a holy day every February 13th in the middle of Black History Month to just reconcile and forgive and allow ourselves that breathing space, right, to just be us and celebrate who we are and observe 5 specific tenets, showing love for the Creator, for ourselves, for our family, our Black community, and the Black race. And yes, the last tenet is that on that day, for 24 hours, white folks should show love for Black people. And by the confrontation is that, people said, we have a white love day, and I tell people I'm not being facetious, but we have a white love day almost every single day of the year. It's a lot of support that people who so-called consider themselves white, they are allowed. And so we have to bring back the parity or the equality. That until we understand that we must love ourselves and we must be unafraid to say that we love ourselves. I got my dogs in here fighting. Okay, I need y'all to go out. Come on, everybody. Out, 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 out. Excuse me. We have to be we don't have to apologize to love ourselves, take care of ourselves, do what we need to do for ourselves. And that doesn't mean we have to dislike anybody else.
So Miss Aya,
it's all right for us to love ourselves, and we have actually been looked at by other groups to say those kind of questions. Why can't we have? But there's this exclusivity that people have to recognize. There's no exclusive aspect to loving and to honoring humanity, and until we get to that level, then, we are always going to be challenged with some group saying that we deserve to be more recognized and we deserve to have more privileges. And that's our challenge. We've had a group of people have privileges for a long, long time, and to be able to share those privileges with others brings us to that equality of humanity.
Okay, everybody just give me a second. I'm sitting here, I'm laughing because sometimes everything that you're trying to have things to go into order and they just start going any way, which way or whatever. And I'm watching some of the things that just taking place here. You can't see it, so my energy is all over the place. But now.
Breathe.
That's what I'm getting ready to do. That's where I'm getting ready to go. I want to get back to breathing. I want to get back to understanding how to stay on track and stay focused. Tracy asked a question. Can you tell us some exercises to teach us how to properly breathe to help us to live longer by properly breathing?
Okay. I'd like to refer to breath techniques as a study called breathology. Breathology is the art and science of being aware of our breath, applying breath techniques, and having an understanding of the mechanics of breathing. I teach a course called Optimum Life Breathology, and I've been blessed to certify over 165 breathologists around just about 7 states, and we've exposed breathology in about 9 different countries, and we breathe with lots and lots of people. Like I said, actually with millions of people on radio, TV, and print. People ask me that question often, the exercise. But an exercise is something that you do for a period of time. When we speak of applying breathology, we're speaking about coming back to the fundamental natural breath, that once you practice it, reconnect with your natural breath, then that natural breath is no longer just an exercise that you do every so often. It becomes your way of life. And the way of life that I'm going to encourage your listeners now is to begin the concept of relearning how to breathe. which simply is a workshop we'll be doing coming up. I think it's March, maybe 5th or 6th. And we offer this oftentimes on my broadcast, Positive Energy Wednesdays. And we offer this also as often as we are asked. We simply want you to put one hand on your belly, right near your navel. We want you to allow the forefingers to rest just below your navel, as if you're relaxing right there with your hand flat on your stomach. The thumb is at your belly button. This gives you an anchoring point to connect with the point in the body where the diaphragm muscle, which is the optimum breathing muscle, is able to move and open the lungs to their widest. Then I encourage you to put the other hand on your chest. Now, if you're holding the phone, it might be challenging. Put the phone up, snuggled up under your shoulders and your ear, right? And just for a minute, just stop, close your eyes, and focus on your breathing. And as you're breathing in and out, breathing in and out, breathing in and out, I want you to notice if your chest is rising up and down, or is your belly rising up and down, which would mean that as you inhale in air, bring in the air, if your chest is going up and down, your shoulders going up and down, just below your breasts, okay, men and women, both, all of us have breasts. If you notice just below your breasts, your body is rising up and down, you're probably one of the 9 out of 10 people who is breathing inefficiently. And it's widespread. The goal is to relearn how to breathe from the lower portion of your body, which means as you inhale, your belly should gently come out. You'll feel your hand move somewhat, and exhale, you'll feel your hand going back towards the back of your spine. If you can begin to envision this and just try it as an exercise of effort, not as an exercise that you're going to do every once in a while. We want your relearning how to breathe to turn into a constant practice of relaxing the lower portion of the body, not holding that part of us so tight and taut, which adds to constricting the breathing. And we say, breathe into the hand on your belly. Allow your belly to rise and fall. Watch our babies. Watch how their breathing is. The natural breath our babies exhibited around age 3, 4, 5, as our lungs develop and we stop being belly breathers. If we could continue to work with our children by putting their body belly to belly with ours, we would feel our bellies synchronizing, connecting. And we want to encourage children to continue to breathe using their bellies. As they, lose that ability, they don't lose it. They alter it because of stress and trauma. When we're stressed and tight and tense, having those tantrums, you'll see children tighten all up their bodies and their shoulders are lifted up and their belly is all tight, right? We have to even relax our children to remember their natural breath pattern. If they don't, it becomes a habit of breathing in an unnatural fashion. So we don't want to consider this an exercise. We want to consider this going back to the natural way of breath. Of course, everybody has a different breath pattern. So that means that the common breath pattern, however, is breathing from this lower portion. There are about 5 to 10 other breath techniques that we can use for different things. If we're needing to run and we need a greater increase of oxygen, we might find ourselves using the uppermost portion of our chest for a limited period of time. We get these short spikes of energy when we're running, when we're doing actual calisthenic type exercises, right? So it's okay for short period of time. But when we see that this is the constant way in which we operate, we're putting ourselves at great risk. There's other breathing techniques like a cleansing breath where we're actually closing off the nasal cavities, okay, for alternate nostril breathing. And we can breathe through the throat. We can breathe and allow ourselves to do what's called a fire breath, where we're actually warming up the body. That's sort of snapping the breath back and forth. And so we in Optimum Life Breathology, we teach about 14 different breath techniques, but we spend almost a whole day helping people to relearn how to breathe. And in March, we will be doing that whole day workshop because it is the tremendous, it is the most optimum tool that we can use to make the most critical difference in our spirit, our mind, our bodies, the capability for us to have maximum health and longevity. So you want to take it out of the framework of an exercise. Take it into the framework of we have to go back to what is efficiently the most effective breath technique for us to relearn.
Yes, so Ms. Ayala, let me take a moment just to tell everyone that just tuned in. Y'all, everybody got to bear with me because my wife is over here. She was trying to do some of the breathing techniques, and I was watching her as she was doing it. And even when I was doing it, I realized that we breathe differently, and we don't breathe, like you said, like the babies do. I also want to go back and go back to what Katrina was saying when she said she was talking about people coming in for prayer. Many come for prayer with a T-shirt. We still can't breathe. Please forgive me. Bless you, Queen. Okay. And I know what T-shirts you're talking about because actually my wife has a T-shirt on right now. It says I can't breathe. But those T-shirts are more so representing the young man that was killed in Washington D.C. I mean, not in Washington D.C. in New York.
As well as a metaphor.
Right.
As well as a metaphor that in the stress, trauma arena of racism, there are people who do find themselves holding their breath a lot. I have an excerpt in my book of Applied Breathology that I actually speak to that there are communities, white and black, that there's so much stress, tension, and trauma that they do find themselves walking around holding their breath. They're scared. They're in fear. They're disconnected with the natural order of being able to live freely without any fear, without any with the sense that I can go where I want to go. I'm not suspected. I can live in the optimal way that I should be able to live. And so they spend a lot of time holding their breath. And so when you see that I can't breathe, it's also a symbolism that I find myself. The police stop me from breathing, but I ride down the street in a car with a busted headlight, and as soon as that policeman rides up behind me, what do? We're holding our breath. Our heart is beating and racing because we are limiting our oxygen because we are actually in fear. There's a study that says as soon as most people go to their computer because they have to then perform, the machine showed that 9 out of 10 of this study showed that most of the respondents were, the needle jumped all up and down, showing people holding their breath. So there's so many different reasons that we hold our breath. I mean, we get excited over the birth of a child, and we call that eustress. So it's not that you just have stress because of tension and fear and pain and confusion, but we also get excited, and the stress hormones flood the body, and so even that can cause us to hold our breath. So we have to recognize that that euphemism or that slogan,
So-
it has a very deep connotation
So-
because holding our breath really is the beginning of killing every cell in our body.
And
Every time you hold your breath, you don't give your cells the oxygen meal or the aliveness that a cell needs. So if you spend half of your 20,000 times a day breathing, your 20,000 breaths on average, and you're not actually allowing the body to breathe for whatever reason, you are beginning to create cellular death.
So, hey, Ms. Ayo, I need to ask another question. Okay, Tracy has said, can you go back to the other part? Y'all got to, Zena's still over there trying. So, go back. So, it said, Tracy said, what if we have a congested nose, we are not able to breathe properly? How do we correct that if we have restrictions?
Mm-hmm. She said, how do we change the constriction if we're not able to breathe properly?
Well, no, you know, say like if you're having a problem through breathing through your nose, you know, like you got sinus problem and stuff like that.
Oh, yes. Hold on a minute. Hold on.
So,
Okay, I apologize. Yes, if you're having problems with your sinuses, yes, you're having some issues with your breathing. That's right. And so there's a cleansing breath technique that is really excellent to clear the sinuses, okay? It's hard to explain, but you actually lift the tongue up towards the two front teeth and put the tongue in between the split, and you pull in breath, and you hear the sound in the back of the throat. It pulls the epiglottis. It's a little membrane that makes certain that food doesn't go down into the throat area, okay, our windpipe, right? And you can try that. That sometimes cleanses the sinuses. There's a second breath called a kriya that you actually push the breath out like that. It's like a sniff, or we call a sniffing breath. And by pushing air out, gentle now, not like a wind stack, you know. I want to try to describe, you know, don't bellow it out, just kind of sniff it out. I hope you can hear that. And then gentle sniffing out, that pushes out mucus, and that helps to open up the sinuses. However, you got to check as to why the sinuses close to begin with. It could be a blockage in the sinuses. It could be mucus in the sinus area. We have to ensure that we use, again, maybe some of the essential oils. Sometimes they help to open up the sinus. You can put a little bit of warm water and cup it in your hand, and you can sniff on one side of the nostril and move it on to the other side of the nostril, because sometimes there's just debris in the nose cavity that begins to filter into the sinus area.
Right.
So we can cleanse, okay? And we need to look at the environmental potential that could also be an issue with your environmental pollutants that could be causing sinus blockage.
So Ms. Ayo?
There's several different
Ms.
things
Ayo?
that one can look at. Mm-hmm.
Okay. We actually get ready to run out of time, and so I just want to real briefly ask a couple of more questions. She said, Tracy want to know, can you tell us the importance of people of color to exercise? Does exercise help us to breathe better? Does exercise increase our oxygen level in our bodies? So many people of color live short because of lack of exercise.
Okay, yes, that's true. We gotta move the body. Breathing efficiently is the number one priority, but then we want to exercise in order to move the oxygen around the body. So, yes, moving all also increases the heart rate, it increases the breath rate, and that in itself would increase oxygen intake. However, again, we are limited in that respect too. We think we've got to do, real serious jumping up and down exercises that you see at the gym, or you got to run in place, or you got to, be on the treadmill. You got to have the exercise equipment. No, simple exercises like walking up and down the steps. That's an exercise. Walking around the block is another exercise. When we stand up and just move and dance, that's an exercise, okay? We must just move. Sitting all day is a serious health threat because we're not circulating the oxygen that is within the body. So now you got limited breathing and limited circulation. So the two is what really makes the health difference. This weekend at our conference that we'll be having on Saturday the 13th, we'll be doing a lot of breathing exercises. We really want to invite your whole audience to make certain that they come and they hear more and see more and feel more and, enjoy the love energy that's going to flow this Black Love Weekend. Love yourself to learn more about how to take care of yourself simply by, loving the breath in our body, because breath is life. Without the breath, there is no life. So you got to move the breath. And when you move the breath, you move your life force up. And energize it.
Okay, Miss Ayo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to kill my wife. I'm going to kill her. She's giving me the cue. I have to read something about your workshop. So it says, her workshops are awesome, and I suggest if you can take her class, it will really help my clients and myself for better self-care to read. Okay, jump. It says, wait a minute.
To release stress.
Oh, it would help my clients and myself for better self-care to release stress. What I would like for you to do, we are out of time. Can you actually give us your information so that they...
Yes, certainly. This weekend's event on February 13th, Black Love Day, please register. It's free. It's an all-day conference. It's an alternative to Valentine's Day. It's a day for us to just love ourselves. And we want you to go to the website. You learn about breathing. You learn about Black Love Day. You learn about a lot of wellness techniques. Our website is www.positiveenergyworks.com. One E that connects positive with energy, and there's an S on the end, positiveenergyworks.com. And if that gets a little confusing, you can just look up Ayo Handy Kendi, AYOHANDY-KENDI. I'm pretty prominent on Google, and I can even leave my telephone numbers, 202-667-2577, 202-667-2577. We've got workshops scheduled there. We have information about this weekend's Black Love Day. The schedule yet is not up yet, but the schedule for all of the participants will be up tomorrow. But just know it's the thing to do this Saturday so that you can love yourself, take care of yourself, and experience the power of love as the healing force. And take that day to just put your feet up so you can breathe a lot easier during these times. It's a day of love, connection, peace, harmony, and we can increase the peace by stopping the violence. So we want to heal all the divides and encourage you to be part of Black Love Day. Come on out and breathe with us. Have a good time. And I look forward, Mr. Grimes, I can't wait to be on the show and see you. I can't wait.
I know. We're going to
happen, okay?
We're going to make that happen. We thank you so much. We thank you so much. Before you go, I want you to know that I will have you back I thank everybody that tuned in. This is Miss Ayo Handy Kendi. And
Ayo Handy Kendi, and I thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity to serve the audience. Yes, indeed.
And I'm going to ask Rachel. Rachel, please put in her information about the class, this Saturday, all the information. So put that in. And I also want to invite you to, anytime that you have any breathing classes or things, to please put them on my page. And as you know that we're on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, please take that opportunity to just, when you get in, you just step in and just kind of put your information in on the board, and we'll take that time out to read your information to help support what you're doing.
I appreciate that, sir. It really is power in the breath. And so, yes, I will certainly do that. I'll make certain that we share with you all that we're doing. And I thank you so much. Breathe easy. Experience this power in the breath, because it's truly the power that we need to make it through these times. God
bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, sir. God bless you, too. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. It's Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. I appreciate everybody that joined in. That was really, really powerful. Breathing is so important. A lot of people don't realize, when you go to the doctor, as Ms. Ayo was saying, if you think about it, what do the doctor do? The first thing he do is, they want to take your temperature, they want to see your weight and stuff like that, but they want to hear your breathing, because the breathing tells a lot about what's going on with you. And, so we got to be very, very conscious of our health. It's Real Talk Live, and that's what we do. We try to get the information out that's going to help us to move forth and to become so much better. I see Tracy had that. That is what COVID is doing to our people, making them scared to go outside and get fresh air and breathe fresh air. Hey, let me tell you something. You got to use common sense with your mask. You got to use common sense about everything. Everybody is going around here. You kind of like just got to stop and think. You can put the mask on, and if you don't take the mask off in the appropriate areas to get fresh air, you're causing a lot of damage to your lungs. But if you're also going around and you don't put the mask on, and you're in an area breathing all the germs of everybody else, you're putting your lungs in danger. So it's about using common sense. If it's a fire, you stick your hand in it, you're going to get burned. Okay? We got a lot of young people out here not taking this very serious. Everything that's going on in 2020 is very serious, because, we just seeing something that's new to us. But we got to be smart about how we take care of ourselves and work on our immune system. I would like to just reach out and say to everybody, I appreciate you that you tuned in, and those that didn't, I send peace and blessings to you, and you can go back and look at it on YouTube. Remember, we ask that you go and subscribe and show love and support, and take a deep breath so that you can keep living. God gave us that blessing to have these beautiful lungs. We have to learn how to use them, take care of them, and don't abuse them. In the name of Jesus Christ, I just want to send you peace and blessings and tell you I love you, I love you, I love you. And on Friday, we got something special for you. Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes. People to people, power to power, positive thinking people. I thank you so much. Can I talk?